I'm Jonatan Scwenk, I'm from Germany. I live in Castro at the moment, and I made the film Sukur.
I'm Castro, I'm an animator from London. I made a film called Fans of Trumpet, which is a strange little cartoon sort of from the 60s and 70s, but not actually. I'm here as part of the European Young Talent Programme, is that what it's called? Yes, yes, good. I'm here as part of the European Young Talent Competition, yes. Fans of Trumpet is a 4-minute, I would describe it as a cartoon about two characters, one who's big and one who's little. Big finds a new toy, Big has a new toy to play with, and Little's not very happy about it, and it affects their relationship. And really it's ultimately about relationships and how it's quite easy to both like and be very annoyed by someone at the same time. Visually, I've always been interested in sort of really simple design, sort of like modernist design, both from like Eastern Europe and America, but also like British animation in the 80s was super simple and weird, and that was something that I kind of wanted to bring to it. And there's a lot of contemporary artists like Nicholas Maynard and other animators that influenced this film, because the film started off as a bit of an experiment, just for me to try something new, and it's all been influenced by all of those different things, kind of been put into this weird little melting pot. And a lot of jazz as well. I'm really interested in jazz, and my family are musicians, so that was quite a big thing, hence I guess the trumpet. So it's all kind of been put in there in this weird big melting pot of very annoying noise.
My film Sukur is about fish which are stuck in trees after a flood, and they are in danger of drying out, and so they scream. And there live some cave dwellers nearby, and they are annoyed by the noise the fish make. So there's a conflict between those two parties, and some of the cave dwellers are reacting in a very aggressive way, others don't. Some even help, or one character even helps, and yeah, so there are different ways of dealing with strangers. In the beginning, it was completely not planned to be a film about the refugee topic. I was thinking about problems between neighbors, and I was observing that neighbors who were fighting because of nightly disturbance of noise, and and I don't really know how I ended up with the fish in the trees. It was probably also a lot of wine included while brainstorming. So me and a friend of mine, Merlin Flügel, we were somehow figuring this out, and later in the production, when the refugee topic became more and more important in the media, we realized this would be a film about the refugee topic, and I fear that the topic helped this film a lot to get around the world also. I really like to combine techniques to do hybrid animation, especially when video is included as well, because I like to have some movement in advance, so to speak, to not have to start with zero, without anything in front of me. So I already have some movement, maybe by the camera, and I can create a much more realistic feeling, I think. And so I included stop motion characters and 3D characters in video footage, which we had shot on a 4-day shooting, I think. And then it was a lot of compositing, of course, to melt all these layers together.
I watched a lot of kids' TV, which seems strange for a 30-something-year-old bloke. But I watch a lot of like older kids' TV and a lot of British stuff in particular. It's a lot of stuff from my childhood that I'm constantly fascinated by. A lot of Oliver Postgate stuff and small films, which I don't even know whether that translates abroad. Like Ivor the Engine. Do you know Ivor the Engine? Nope, didn't expect you to. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But it's very particularly British, and there's a sort of a sweetness to it, and the stories very rarely actually go anywhere, even though there's like dragons and trains that can sing and all this stuff, but they'd never actually sort of go anywhere. And I really like that. And when you kind of combine that with a sort of British sense of humour, so kind of sarcastic and kind of laughing at ourselves all the time, and willing to kind of take the piss out of ourselves. I think that's anything that involves any of that kind of stuff I'm really, really interested in.
Yeah, I grew up without television. I did not see lots of stuff. Yeah, I started very late to watch movies. Very often my friends told me, you should know this film, and I had no idea what they were talking about.
I think we live in a great time for animation, personally. I think there's so much cool stuff going on. Like so many interesting people from all over the place. Like, I've actually had to turn off social media because it's so many influences coming at you that it's actually sometimes quite hard to like duck and dive your way through it and have your own voice like after that, I think. So it's hard, but it's great. It's good.
Wait a minute. I've one thing which I forgot to mention also in the Q&A, and this is that this film is probably my most Slovenian one which I have so far, because I was here a few years ago just for holidays, and I visited caves here, and they made it into the film, kind of. I don't know the name of it. Slozianske Jame or something. What is Skotsianske Jame? No idea. This was really impressive, and I never thought there could be so big worlds underneath the surface of landscapes. This was really impressive. Yeah.
So have you used the actual textures in the film, or like conceptually? Like
Conceptually, yeah.
Right,
it was all built.
Yeah, cool. I've got some questions about the fish noises.
The fish noises, yeah.
Were there any did you ever, because you were working with a sound designer, right?
I am my own sound designer in this case.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So did you ever come up with a thing and think, that's perfect, and then come back to it the next day and be like, oh my god, that's too much, it's too far? Because it's such a noise that I feel like there's got to be. It's a fine line between grotesque, for the right reasons.
Yeah, it is. I try to find sounds which are really disturbing and which are on the edge to be too much. And I've tried a lot of different animals, and I found some which are moose, pigs, donkeys even, and some kind of birds, and but they ended up to be most of the sounds which I found just for the Animateka version. And I was always thinking, okay, maybe I should change them again, also create something new. But they ended up to be mostly from sound archives in the end. And I don't know if this somehow answered the question. I don't know if I got your question right.
No, it's great listening to how those crazy noises got made.
I cannot hear the noises anymore. It's too much.
I feel the same way about that. The jazz noise in mine. Me and my sound designer. Kenny's amazing, and his brief was it needs to be pretty annoying, but not so annoying that people will hate it, but almost that annoying. It's quite a hard brief to make something funny but also incredibly irritating. I think.
And did you have a test audience then to check this out?
No, we just sort of went with it and thought, yeah, that's how I imagined it sounding. So, yeah, it's kind of neat.